And let us chant this mantra and then we will begin. Naham manushyo na cha deva yakshaha na brahmana kshatriya vaishya shudraha na brahmachari na grihi vanastava bhikshur na cha aham nija bodha sarupa. That our journey began to know what is our sarupa, what is our real identity, what is our real nature. So this is the most difficult part. Why? Because it is subjective, because it is all with my mind, because it is all with myself. I cannot take the help of others. I cannot take the help of anyone except the Guru and the scripture. So that is why they always say you have to have Shraddha. Shraddha, the faith. What is that faith? Guru Vakyeshu, Shastra Vakyeshu. Satya Buddhi Avadharanam. Satya Buddhi, we have to accept it as the truth. That's Satya Buddhi. Whom we can think in that way? The Guru and the scripture. And what are the scripture? The scriptures are the records of the Aptyas. Who are the Aptyas? Those realized souls. So this is step by step, if we go, the realized souls only. Why they call it realized? Because they have revealed, they received the revelation within their mind. Revelation means that we are thinking, deeply we are thinking, then we come to a conclusion, not like that. Rather, exactly opposite. We put our mind totally blank, we stop our mind totally, that's called deep meditation. And when in that deep meditation, when there is not even a ripple in our mind, no thought is flowing on our mind, then only in that particular mind, suddenly the truth reveals out of itself. But sometimes some people, if they are taking the help of drugs and making their mind blank, it's not real blank. So naturally, they are not having any consciousness, they are not having any other thing, but they are not, their minds are not ready to receive the highest truth. So we have to understand that the highest truth comes only to those whose mind have stopped completely thinking the worldly thoughts. What are the worldly thoughts? Things that are connected with my interest. Whatever I think because I have some interest in it, either attachment or aversion. So if I am having attachment to something, I think. If I am having the aversion, not having any interest in it, that also an attachment. I am going on thinking about my enemy or someone I think or I feel that insulted me, so I go on thinking about that particular person, it's also an attachment. So obviously our mind should be totally free from that, then only it is possible. And how the mind can be totally free from that thought, we have already studied in our previous classes. The why we should meditate, a series of lectures that was given over here. So in that lecture we have discussed that the mind is nothing but the flow of thoughts. And flow of thoughts comes from only the contact of our senses to the sense objects. And we know we have 5 senses, and these 5 senses goes out, the chakshu, karna, nashika, jiva and tak, it goes out, the eye goes and see and come to report to the mind, the ear hearing something, and nose smelling something, tongue tasting something, all the report is coming to the mind, and mind is analyzing what is it, all that are thoughts. And in the first hand, when we are awake, then it goes down back deep into our mind, subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind again, when something else we see, immediately it goes back and then brings out, oh yes, I saw this thing previously. So in the subconscious mind, the storehouse, all these things our mind. So many complications are there in our mind. It is not in one life. The Hindus that believe there's life after life, we are going on accumulating all the impressions. And that's why in a Upanishad, they are giving a wonderful, the first line they are saying, Abritta chakshu amritattamichan kaschid dhira pratyag atmanam aikshat. Abritta chakshu amritattam icchan, desiring to know the truth. And they give the name of the truth Amrit. Amrit means eternal, something eternal. To know that what they didn't go out, didn't go for reading books or reference books to the library or to laboratory. They simply closed their eyes. And closing the eyes means not only they are shutting their eyes, but also closing all the 5 senses. The moment these 5 senses are closed, then obviously no information is coming from outside. When no information is coming from outside, whatever they are already inside, they are slowly becoming weak. If they are not getting the feedback, they are not getting the supply, so they are becoming weak. And when they are weak, slowly they go away, die away, drop away, and the mind becomes completely free. Is it possible? It is possible. Indian yogis, they have proved it. And many of the people now even, they are trying it, becoming successful. It is possible. Now these are the whole knowledge. Where it came from, who are the people this knowledge they gave, where it is stored, and that is called Vedas. Now, we were searching for the root, and the mystery is the creation. What mystery we like to see? Is the creation is the greatest mystery. And look at this creation, so many varieties of things are there. You are walking on this road or maybe on the grasses, maybe for so many times you have already walked, you do not know how many insects are surviving, living their life under your feet in that place. We don't know. Suddenly when you are just taking out some earth and you find so many varieties, they are living over there, they are having the family, they are having the full complete life. So that is very, very peculiar. So that's I went to this one of the museums here. America, one thing is very good, museums, excellent, and they depict and they give in such a way. If you go and see, you learn so many things. So what we are learning sitting in the classroom, it is far better if you go to a museum and learn it. In one day, your knowledge will enhance so much. So naturally, I went over there and saw, you can touch it. The moment you are touching a small piece of wood, it is covered, and now you are touching an opening, and then immediately there are coming out so many varieties of things living over there, and you are closing and they are going down and settling. Who are those? Who has created them? Why they are surviving like that? This is very, very peculiar. What is their life's goal? Mystery, mystery, and mystery. So naturally, instead of going to understand each and every individual thing, we go to the root. Now in our country, when they cook the rice, they know whether the rice is ready or not. Raw rice they will be putting in the boiling water, and after some times the ladies, the mothers, they will go and only pick up only one piece, only one, and then they will know it is now ready for eating. Not that the whole thing they will taste, no, only one. And that is the beauty. Only you have to understand yourself, that's all. You needed to go and, hey, let me check. Who are you? Where from you have come? What is your mind? What is it? Then they will say, why you are bothering me? If you want to do all these things, you go for something else. So that is why it is all subjective knowledge. If you go and try to understand others, it is better to understand yourself. You understand myself. If I know my mind, I know everybody's mind. How the yogis can control others, can overpower others, not physically, mentally. Why? Because they know their own minds. They know what is going to happen this time, that time, every time. So, obviously, that particular knowledge they are applying on others. So, that is the main thing. I told you perhaps, sometimes the people, they have the notion that the Swamis, they know the mind of others. And then one gentleman came, he sat, not over here in India, and he was sitting there. I told, do you like to say something? And so many other works are going on. I was the principal of a school and also the secretary, so you can understand so many varieties of work. So he was sitting over there looking at me. I told, do you like to say something? I was thinking that he will request for admission of his son and all that. He was telling, no, you tell. I told, you tell me? Well, I didn't call you. I was thinking, have I invited him there? I don't think I called you. No, I have come. And then you are supposed to tell me. No, you are a yogi. You tell. So I can tell only one thing. Please don't disturb me. So right this moment I am so busy. So this way, so people they are thinking they can. Who can really? There are some people, but not all the time. To know the other's mind, the yogi has to concentrate. Then they can say. And the avatars of the great souls like Sri Ramakrishna, anytime they could say. Why? They could see the minds of each and every one. Sri Ramakrishna went to meet the Vidyasagar Mahasaya. And there he saw one boy sitting, young man. Sri Ramakrishna used to like the young man, but when he saw that young man, he told, I am not going to sit by his side. Is there any other seat? And he sat others. And he was looking at him, not at all pleased. Why? Afterward he said, avidya. Avidya means ignorance, and that ignorance means full of selfishness. And so much of selfishness, that's why even the young boy, young man, he was having so much of selfishness within himself. So that's why a personality of God himself, who is totally unselfish, could not go near to that. So this is how he could understand that. This is called mind. They could understand it. Now Sri Ramakrishna's mind, any time he could control all his thoughts, and he used to go, not once, so many times. If you have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, you know, so many times he used to go into samadhi. What is that samadhi? Samadhi means totally merging into another realm of thoughts. So friends, we will be now, so now we were searching, what is this creation? This is the wonderful, the mystery. Now to searching out the mystery, we know about the science, most of you have read, so we are not going over there, religious and philosophical. And the different religions are also so many varieties of religions, and they are having so many varieties of opinions. So we just touched only major religions and then Indian philosophies mainly. And then we come to, in one point over here, and our last class we have discussed about the Vedanta, that is the ultimate, and the Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. In the Vedanta, Vedanta, and in the end of that knowledge, there are again three different schools: Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, Advaita. Advaita is the highest. Why? Only one and no two. The moment there are two, immediately there will be sometimes joy and sometimes misery. In Hindi they say, kabhi khushi, kabhi gam. There's a famous serial was there. I was not understanding what is this. Then after I came to know about, and that is true. And all the time the mind is going kabhi khushi, kabhi gam. Sometimes it's going happy, sometimes misery. Happy and misery. Happiness and misery constantly going side by side. And the moment you want happiness, I am going to speak about happiness in the New Jersey. And the moment you seek happiness, get ready for the misery. That's sure. And somebody is very happy, all are clapping, suddenly one shoe came and fell on the table. Misery. And that only one fellow was not very happy with you, threw his own shoe, and then he was cursing himself, I have to purchase another pair. So, but still, but this is called life. So we have to understand the mystery of life. What is that mystery of life? Who will teach us? These are the answers. All these things are in the called Veda. V-E-D-A. Veda. And this was discovered, the Vedas. And who has created this vast and complex creation? This knowledge is also there. And from today, we will try to fathom the storehouse of knowledge, which are known as Vedas. The Vedas is the life of the Hindus. Now, the Buddhists are not Hindus. Why? The Lord Buddha himself was born in a Hindu family, and he took initiation from a Hindu saint. He practiced all spiritual practices, austerities in a Hindu way. How suddenly he has gone out of Hinduism? As they always call, Jesus was not a Christian, the Christ was not a Christian, and the Buddha was not a Buddhist. So why Buddhism is not Hindu? Because they do not believe in the authority of the Veda. That's all. This Veda, I don't know whether Lord Buddha himself denied, but anyway, because after his passing away, after almost 100 years passed, then only they came and met the group and discussion, then they formed the philosophy, etc., etc. But anyway, if one is not admitting the Veda, then he is not a Hindu. The Hindu must accept the Veda. Now this Veda is the life of the Hindus and the basic scriptures of the Hindus. Now one gentleman was asking, Swamiji, we are really ashamed. Now we are Hindus, but we do not know. Is there anything in our religion like the Quran, the Bible? Is there anything like that? Is it only the Gita? I told, of course, Gita. but basic of the whole knowledge is the Veda. The Hindu scriptures is Veda. A Tripitak is the scripture for the Buddhist, Quran for the Muslims, Bible for the Christians, the Veda for the Hindus. Everything in the Veda. So we will study about the Veda from the next classes slowly. And the Rig Veda and so many 4 other Vedas. So in details we won't be able to, but the bird's eye view, the small, that whatever best way it is possible, we will try. The name, the word, the Veda is derived from the root. Always the Sanskrit has a root. Any name, it must be having a root. Its root is B-I-D, bid. Bid means to know. That is why the Hinduism is not that way a religion. Why? In the religion, always something mystical will be there. Someone is coming down and then giving some sermon and giving some ideas, do's and don'ts, then only. And here we find that it is not like that. It's knowledge. Exactly like the science, knowledge. Someone has discovered something and that has been published in the scientific journals, and that time people are accepting it, appreciating it. Then maybe after 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, somebody else came, again he researched, and then he said, no, it is not that way, it must be in this way. Again a change. So constantly changing and then improving and proceeding, that's called science. It's not stopping in only one place, no. The moment someone will say this much is the complete and that is called science, no. Immediately they will cease to call that knowledge as science. Scientific knowledge means always progress. Similarly, in Hinduism, we find constant progress. It's going on improving. The one time some people came and they told this and that was followed. After some time they told, it's not necessary now. At that time it is okay. Now we are changing it, constantly, that is improving. So Hinduism, to bid, to know. Who can know? Anyone. Anyone can. There is no differentiation in knowledge. Anyone can understand. Anyone can get. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, in his inimical way, he is telling that Chand Mama is everybody's Mama. Chand means the moon. And if you are calling, mostly they used to call the moon as maternal uncle, Mama. It's a very close relation. The mother's brother. So that is everybody's uncle, maternal uncle. If you go and see this, but you have to understand that, you have to develop that. So here is also same thing. You like to know, you follow this. And this is the system you must follow. And then you are ready to understand this. So that is called to know. The Veda means vast body of sacred knowledge. The sacred knowledge they are mentioning in the book, the sacred knowledge is pure. And if properly understood and utilized, can give secular prosperity. So the Veda, that knowledge is a sacred knowledge. So we get two words now. One is sacred and secular. The secular means this worldly, and sacred means the transcendental, divine. So then naturally these are the two different realms we are getting. We know about the secular. Everything that we see is secular. What does it mean by secular? Worldly. What is worldly? Temporary. That's all. The secular knowledge means worldly knowledge, and worldly knowledge means temporary knowledge. As I was telling, that someone discovered and some theories in science, but that continued for some time and then stopped. Here it is not like that. Now, just then I was telling, in Hinduism everything is every time progressing. What is it is actually progressing? If the goal is changing all the time, then we cannot say that it is permanent. Goal is not changing. So that is the difference only. The sacred and the secular, the sacred knowledge, it has a goal, it has a truth, it is the ultimate. And that ultimate thing is not changing at all. That is remaining as it is. And 20,000 years ago, when a rishi revealed that, realized that truth, today also, if anybody is following the same way, same method, will get the same result. Not a single difference, not a little difference, everything will be same. But procedure is changing, that is the thing. Procedure is changing. Previously, the Hindus could never think, Hindus monk never could think that they are speaking in English. Sanskrit is the language, you are supposed to speak in Sanskrit. Now majority of the modern monks don't know Sanskrit at all. They can't speak in Sanskrit, but they can read. They have great respect for the Sanskrit, but because of the environment, they studied in a different school, and naturally when they became the monk, they were not knowing that way good grammars of Sanskrit. It doesn't matter. Now we are wearing this type of stitched clothing, and it was impossible to think for the previous monks. They used to go to that funeral places, and when the dead bodies they are throwing the clothes, that they used to take, they used to wash, and they used to make the color, because there sometimes a fade color. So in those days, even today, there are some stones you can get. If you are rubbing, a color is coming. That's called gerua, saffron. That gerua color, they used to put that cloth and they used to wear. So that was the system. We cannot maintain that now. Now we go to the shop and say, is there any permanent color? And who is going to bring that stone? The government won't allow us to bring the stone. So now they are having the change. And obviously they never use the shoes. We are having the shoes. So are we not monks? In those days there were so many varieties, because they used to cut their hair, or sometimes long matted hair, and all those external things. But the what really basically mean is the internal thought. If the thought is pure, thought is unselfish, thought is constantly, attentively pointed to God, then you are a monk. And in Bhagavad Gita they say, wonderfully the God is telling, Giyasa nikta sannyasi yo nadeshti nakangshati. Is all the time, regularly, is the sannyasi. Sannyasa means giving up. Yo nadeshti nakangshati. There is no aversion or desire. He is a real sannyasi. So the dress has nothing to. But it is a symbol, that's all. So this is going on, the changing. But the truth is the same. 20,000 years before, or the monk who used to only wear the kaupina and the bare body, he used to think that Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Today also we are thinking and we are believing, we are giving our life, dedicating our life for that truth, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. That Brahman is the truth, eternal, unchanging, and these worldly things are constantly changing. So that knowledge is called Veda, V-E-D-A. These Vedas, and from the beginning we realize that there are two worlds, sacred and secular. Sacred is permanent, secular is temporary. Sacred knowledge gives clear idea about secular knowledge. Who have given us this knowledge? Rishis, they call it, rishis, the seers. When you are translating the Sanskrit word into English, rishis, seers. Everybody is seeing? No. This seeing means they can see the past, the present, and the future. What happened and what is happening, what is going to happen, everything they could see, they could understand, and that is called rishi. So that rishis, and Qazi Nazrul Islam, a Muslim poet, he wrote a wonderful the poetry about Sri Ramakrishna. He was a Muslim, but he wrote about Sri Ramakrishna. And he is mentioning Satya Yuge Punna Smriti Anile Kolite Tumi. That Rishi, Sri Ramakrishna is a Rishi, he brought back the memories of the Satya Yuga. And why? Because in those days also the same truth was there. In between so many hundreds and thousands of years have passed. We forgot all those things. Now again you have brought back those things and giving to us, and we are understanding. So this is called the Rishi. They could see past, present, and future. Here in America, and I think in France, then Swami Vivekananda was sitting in a room. Then Madame Calvé, she was an opera singer, very, very famous in those days. And she came and entered into Vivekananda's room. She decided to commit suicide because of some sad thing happened to her life. All through her life she was suffering, that she was having only one daughter. She also passed away. That was unbearable pain. She decided to commit suicide, and that time her friend told, why don't you come and meet the Swami, Indian yogi, he may help you. And he did help. When she entered, immediately, even without looking at her, not knowing who is she and where from she is coming, how does she look, Vivekananda was looking at the wall, sitting on the table and then writing something. Immediately he started telling all the past of her life, which was known to herself only, nobody knew. And then the present and the future. Don't waste your life. Dedicate your life for the society, for the betterment of the society. Do you think that just going and killing yourself will be of any use? No. This body is not suffering. What is suffering? Your mind. And after the death, what will go out? Your mind. The same thought will be there in the mind. That's why they say the committing suicide means going into hell. Why? Because that mind of the same thought will go along with you. Body is not taking the thought. Body is not suffering. We think the body is suffering. No, it is the mind. And when we commit suicide, what is falling off? Body. And the source of the suffering is the mind. So don't do that. Rather, turn your focus, turn your mind towards the betterment of others, and you will forget all your pain. Your life will be full of joy, appreciation. And she did that. And she went all the way to India in those days and went to the Sri Ramakrishna's temple. And people were not knowing the opera songs, and that too in a French language, but she sang over there, opening up her heart and prayed to Sri Ramakrishna. But this is what they call knowledge. And this knowledge gives them a status of rishi. This Swami Vivekananda, he gave a wonderful ideas about India. When nobody was thinking even that India can ever become free from the clutches of the British rule, here in America, 1897, it declared, from today, after 50 years, India is going to become free. Think, 1947, India got freedom. India was having nothing. And India was divided in so many different ways, linguistically divided, religious division, and cultural division, so many divisions. And they became united, and they became very powerful. They fought for the freedom. They got the freedom. We all know that's history. So that is the Rishi. And when he was giving the lecture I think in London, he told, I can see the YOLO people are coming, YOLish people are coming, and they will come in thousands and cover up your land. People got so much afraid. When, Swamiji, when it is going to happen? Maybe after 400, 500 years. Oh my God, then we are saved, they said. And we can see how the market economy is going in the hands of those people. Slowly they are coming and capturing. It's not the physically or politically, economical control. It's coming, it is happening. India will rise and it will become the center of the whole world. It is becoming. Because of the spirituality, India will conquer the whole world, not with the power of fire and sword, but with the power of spirit. Some of our people, they are thinking, oh, India, not like that. Spirit means philosophy. What is that philosophy? You are God yourself. You are pure. So don't make your mind so narrow. So that is the teaching we find where? In Veda. And that is why they call the rishis, the sages. From where they got the knowledge, as I was discussing, they actually emptied their whole mind. They could. That was their capacity. And immediately all this knowledge revealed. In the pure minds, the eternal knowledge revealed. Not learned, revealed. They never learned from anything. It was revealed. That is the beauty. Again, friends, I am again mentioning about Sri Ramakrishna's biography. You will understand this far better way. What is this revelation? He never attended any school or college, but he was the source of knowledge. The great people in those days, the famous people, they used to come, they used to listen to him who never attended any school, and he was the epitome of knowledge. He was the source of knowledge, epitome of knowledge. Where from he got that knowledge? We can understand the example that Narendranath, he was very, very intelligent person, highly intelligent. On one of his, the professor, he wrote afterwards, I have traveled so many countries. I have taught different type of students in different countries, but I have never seen one single intelligent boy like Narendra. That was the European professor, that was his Scottish Church College. He told about him. He was such an intelligent. And all the time he knew that the old religion, Hindu religion, old religion, different type of thoughts are there. Mysticism, these and that, so much of superstitions in Hinduism, so much. And he was aware of that. With all those things he came to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna only touched him, that's all. He didn't argue or do anything. He only touched him, that's all. All those knowledge vanished and he saw his real self. It happened to Vivekananda himself. How could he do that? And he said that you are going to be more popular than Keshav Chandra Sen. I can see the Keshav has become popular only with one power. Similar 18 power are there within you. He was a 17 years young boy, and Keshav was a very famous person. Even the Queen Victoria used to invite him, Keshav Chandra Sen, for dinner. Can you imagine? An Indian in those days having that respect, invitation from the Queen? And this boy, 16, 17 years old, he used to feel so much of shy, sad. Don't tell that. I know you like me, but doesn't mean that you have to go on increasing in this way and lionizing myself before comparing with the Keshav Chandra Sen. Sri Ramakrishna said, I am not doing anything. Mother is telling me. I have not seen anything. Mother showed it. Mother told this boy is going to have this. And where is Keshav now? As because we read the biography of Swami Vivekananda, then only we come to know about Keshav Chandra. Who knows about Keshav? So that is the call rishis. These rishis, they gave that knowledge. That's why the Vedas call it apurusha. Apurusha. Purusha means human being. When the human being is creating something, writing something, it's from the imagination, from some of the experiences and his own thoughts. That's called Purusha. Apurusha means not of human origin. So the Vedas, not of human origin. When and to whom this revelation happened? Very difficult to answer this part. When it really happened. But the scholars place the date of Rig Veda. That is the most ancient book of knowledge. Most ancient. Of all the books of knowledge, Rig Veda is the most ancient. And they say it was 10,000 years before Christ. That means 12,000 from now. Before Christ, this is 10,000 years. So this at least another 2,000 we can add, and you can say that 10 to 12,000. It is not that in one time, in one place, one person received this revelation, and divine truths were revealed from time to different rishis and seers. According to Vishnu Puran, the original Veda revealed by God to the rishis consisted of 100,000 verses. 100,000 verses and had 4 divisions. This is the Vishnu Puran they are mentioning. Vishnu Puran is considered as a very authentic book. Though it is a Purana, was very authentic. So that's why they say there's a Vishnu Puran, according to that, there's a 100,000 verses division in 4. With the time that passed, the divisions got mixed up. They're small parts. This is a system always to have the small parts. Why? Because you have to remember it. So for the big long, if you have that one thing, it is difficult to remember. So small parts they used to have so that the students could remember it. So in the beginning, these divisions they got mixed up, and then portions of the Vedas fell into obscurity. People forgot. In the beginning of Dwapara Yuga, they always divide in 4 yuga: Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. Just before our yuga. It is not that only 100 years. It's a long period. Again the Vishnu Purana, they give the time frame of the yugas. In the Dwapara Yuga, in that age, Krishna Dvaipayan collected and classified the work according to 4 ancient divisions. And those divisions was Rig. Now we call it Rig, R-I-G. And in the ancient time, they used to call it R-I-C, Rig. Then Yajus, Y-A-J-U-S. Then Saman, S-A-M-A-N, Saman, and Atharvan. These are the 4. And then he taught them to his 4 principal disciples. They were very famous, these disciples. One is Poila. This Poila, he memorized Rig Veda. Then Vaishampayan, Yajurveda, Jaimini, Samaveda, and the Sumantra, Atharva Veda. Even today in Indian tradition, they have the surnames as the Vedi, Divedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi. In the UP side, the northern part of India, there. But they have forgotten why the surname. Vedi means one Veda, they used to memorize. Two Vedas, Dvivedi. Trivedi, three Vedas. Chaturvedi, four Vedas they used to memorize. You can imagine the capacity. They used to understand so much capacity. Now, I went to a shop over here. Then one lady, many of you know her, and she was a professor over here. Naturally, she was a chemistry professor, and also she knows the mathematics. And when they were calculating that lady in the counter, she was calculating this is this, and she was dictating this much this much this. Then she turned and said, "How could you say that?" "No, I am just thinking. Anyway, you can." And then, "Yeah, you are correct." "No, yes, you are correct." Like that, you are telling. Because of the intellect. She is not having any pen or any notebook. Because of the sharp, the capacity, immediately just she was telling, and this lady was calculating and telling the answer. This much division, the percentage, these and that. That was, if this is possible in the modern age, you can think of that way. These four, they memorized the four. Let me repeat. Paila, then Vaishampayan, Jaimini and Sumantra. Then after this classification of the Veda, this master became known as Veda Vyasa. Because he made the division, Vyasa means division of the Veda, so he became Veda Vyasa. Krishna Daipayan, because his complexion was black, so he became Krishna. Daipayan, because he was born in an island, Deepa. Deepa means island. See, he was born in an island, so Daipayan, black complexion, Krishna, and because he classified the Veda, he got the name Veda Vyasa, and he is the guru of all the Hindus. The Guru Purnima that we observe, the Guru Purnima, sometimes some people they think about their own Guru, of course they may, but actual Guru is Veda Vyasa. And one full moon that is dedicated in her name, Guru Purnima. And why all Hindus are considered him as Guru? He gave the knowledge. Without him, it would have all the Vedas would have been in oblivion, lost. And that's why they are giving this name. Veda Vyasa is the Guru of the Hindus, and the Guru Purnima is dedicated in his name. Each Veda again is having the three divisions. Some they say four, but main three divisions. And of course, some others they say no, two divisions, like that. Let us say four. Why? First is Samhita. Samhita is the mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu. If you go to the Vedic schools, you will always see the children there, they are moving like this. Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu, up and down, up and down. So that way they learned all the mantras. Where they use these mantras? For the yajnas. When they are performing something, they are utilizing all those mantras. So that's called Samhita. The major portions are that. And this, why they are chanting like this? The slowly environment is created. When you are chanting the mantra, the environment is created. And they knew the meaning of the mantras also. The majority of the people now, they only go on repeating the mantra without knowing the meaning. But if you know the meaning, so naturally your mind is uplifted. When your mind is getting uplifted, so obviously you will feel that you are not belonging to this world. You belong to the another spiritual world. That is the speciality. People take initiation. Now that is a different type of mantra. It's not the Samhita mantra. It's the name of the God. And in that name, if you are going on repeating, they call Putita, Putita. The one mystical word and the another mystical word and the end, in the beginning and the end. In between these, there will be a name of God or goddess. And that's called the mantra. And if you are going on repeating that mantra, repeating, and slowly your mind is going over there, then you are forgetting the other things. The moment you are forgetting this temporary world, where your mind goes? To the permanent realm, and that is called divine. So that is called mantra. Manana trayate iti. Just you are going on repeating and memorizing, and your mind is getting the upliftment. That's called mananat trayate. You are saved. Trana means saved. The trayate iti mantra. When the mind, your mind is saved from where? These temporary things. If the mind is on the temporary things, what happened? Sometimes happiness and sometimes misery. So that is why they called it, first portion is the Samhita portion. Second is Brahmanas. Second portion is called Brahmana portion, and that portion means there's all the different type of system you have to learn to do the worship of the gods. So then finally come Aranyaka. The people, they are retiring and going back to the jungles. In those days, they used to go and reside inside the jungle, in the nature. And that's why they call Aranyaka. Aranya means jungle. So Aranyaka, those who are living inside the jungle, they were highly educated and cultured people. But they used to live over there. Why? Because from the din and bustle of the everyday life, if you are retired, if you have gone over there all alone, very quiet, morning time, if you are going and sitting by the bank of a river, listening to the wonderful sound of the water flowing and slowly elevating your mind, and that is called the life of Aranyakas. And there they used to practice one type of knowledge that's called Upanishad. Upa, near, ni, certainly, sad, that is the knowledge. The knowledge that helps you to go near God, certainly, very certain. That is called Upanishad, and that is called Vedanta. All these things are Veda. Now friends, again we will discuss, again and again we will be discussing about the Vedas, and in our next class we will try to discuss about the Rig Veda, the very fast. Now what is there, how many slokas are there, how is the divisions, what they say, the main important slokas, I will try to find out and bring it before you. So this is not just a talk or a very something. This is like the classes, learning and going deep and deeper. Then afterwards, when the Vedas will be over, we won't go to the Upanishads, we will go to the culture of the Vedic times. How the people used to live, what was their culture, what they used to do. And then we will once again go back to Upanishads, then the Itihasas, then the Puranas. I don't know when I am going to complete. But you should have to have lot of patience. Then someday I will declare, now we are over. So this is the how they go the way. Of course, all briefly we have to go on touching. This is the unique way the whole the society has come up. Now suddenly some people, they come and say, oh, we are not going to follow this, we don't believe in this, oh, that was our old customs. But how the customs developed? Suddenly you cannot say like that. The customs developed for a long time. And when a young person is coming and touching the feet of a senior one, that is the custom. When someone is coming, entering into your house, they used to bring the water to wash the feet. That was the custom. Modern day, it is not necessary because there is no dust. Particularly in America, there is no dust at all. And everybody is wearing the socks. And if you pour the water, it will be another problem. So the customs may change, but the truth is the same. Truth is the same. But if you go to the different parts of India, still that customs is there. The moment you enter, they will ask, Swamiji, please open your shoe. And then the shop, of course, you need not, they themselves will open it. And then after that, they will ask you to stand on some plate. Then they will pour water. All the ladies, they will come, they will wash the feet. Why? Because giving respect to a venerable one. But why they used to wash? Because in those days, they used to walk barefoot. And you know that all muddy roads, dust and all those, that was the system. You will notice that Eastern India people, they go and touch the feet with the right hand. But the Northern India people, they never touch the feet. They only touch the knees. They only bow up to knees, then near the knees and with the left hand, that too. Why? Not disrespect, but there was no water scarcity. And that is why now Sacramento, San Francisco and all the places, if you are putting water in your this garden, they will come and arrest. Water scarcity. So the system changes according to the places and the. So we must understand the very special way the human society growing up. And then it's a wonderful culture that is called Indian culture, the ultimate of which is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole universe is my neighbor, not only that, my relatives. They are so close to how they, because of the philosophy. This philosophy came from the Veda. We will again come to that Veda in the next week. Now let us chant from here. Naham manusho nacha deva yakshaha na brahmana kshatriya vaishya shudraha na brahmachari na grihi vanastava Vikshu na cha aham nija bodha sarupa. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. If you have any question, you can please ask for 5-10 minutes. Then we'll go down for lunch. Yeah, please. Sloka and mantra. This is actually the meters. The sloka means that they had this different type of meters, and the mantra again different meters. The sloka and mantra, this differences are there. That's all. The mantra mainly very, very short, and slokas maybe 2 lines or 4 lines. Those are slokas. Any other?
Your topic was the saga of the soul, the journey of the soul. When I read Ramayana and the Bhagavad Gita and other spiritual texts, it says that Sri Rama once said to Tara, his wife, when she was bewailing the loss of her husband, he gave the Vedanta principle to her, and he said, "Na jayate na mrite na tischati na gacchati, nityo jnanamaya die. Neither does it sit, nor does it go anywhere. It is eternal, it is pure consciousness, and if you know this, if you believe in this, there is no reason for you to mourn for him. So Maharaji, how soul can have a journey, can move from one place?
It is not. But to know that the soul is not having any journey, it is eternal, so the journey. This is actually the knowledge that is traveling from slowly, as Swami Vivekananda said, from lower truth to higher truth. Now, when we think about the soul, we think about our mind. How many we are thinking about the real soul, that we talk about the soul? So they say now the Halloween things are coming, and that means what? That means the soul only, the self only. That's also idea of the self. So that is the self and the mind and the real soul. So it is all eternal, the lastly eternal, the soul. But we don't know it, we don't understand it. Why Ramayana, in almost all the scriptures telling the same thing. In the Bhagavad Gita, now jayate, now mriyate, every time. In the second chapter you are studying, every time it is that. But the journey means the stories actually. The tell that we are talking about, how they reached over there. So slowly we are going. Instead of starting with ordinary things, we have started with the search, and then through the Veda. Then we will go one after another, how in everything, in literature, in music, and in culture, everywhere the one thing is going on, that soul is eternal, unchanging. So we should not worry about the soul, the death or the changing. That is the thing. So okay then, thank you. Friends, let me tell you one thing, that today is Sunday, that this coming Tuesday the 10th, evening from 6:30 we will have Kali Puja, and